Hello guys, welcome to Darts Now, and we are at the business end of the year. All roads now lead to Alexandra Palace. The draw for the 2025 PDC World Championship has just been done, and this is my instant reaction, so I've not had a chance to look forensically throughout the draw. But let's start with Luke Humphries. He's in the first quarter. He's the defending world champion after beating Luke Littler last year in the final, and he will face, as a seed, straight into round two, and he will face one of either Thibaut Tricot, the Frenchman, who beat Gerwen Price at the recent Players' Championship finals, or Australian Joe Komoto. I think on paper that's a pretty decent tie for Luke Humphries. Thibaut, like I said, he did beat Gerwen Price, but if he was to face him, he shouldn't have too much trouble there. I mean, you'd expect Luke Humphries really to be pretty much anyone in his path. Just lifted the Players' Championship finals. The other main rival, he's the favourite to lift the World Championship, was last year's runner-up, Luke Littler. He is in the same half of the draw as Luke Humphries, but in a different quarter. Humphries in quarter one, Littler in quarter two. So they are on a collision course to meet in the semi-finals of the World Championship. He will face either Ryan Meikle, who knocked out Gary Anderson of the recent Players' Championship finals, or Fallon Sherrock, who is the first and I think only female winner to win a game at the PDC World Championship. So Luke Littler and Fallon Sherrock could face each other in round two of the PDC World Championship if Fallon Sherrock can beat Ryan Meikle. Looking at the bottom half of the draw now, and in the third quarter, you've got Gerwen Price and Johnny Clayton and Michael Smith as well. They are the three big names in that quarter of the draw. Michael Smith, a huge tournament for him. He's defending £500,000 on his ranking, courtesy of winning the World Championship 2 years ago. So if he has a poor World Championship, he could plummet from world number 2 to world number 14, and maybe even lower than that, depending on what other people do. He will face either Kevin Durst, who he beat in the opening night of last year's World Championship, or Noah Lynn van Leuven, who is the first openly transgender player to play at the PDC World Championship. Going to be interesting to see how the crowd react to her. Hopefully it is a positive reaction, or at least not a negative one. It wasn't great at the Grand Slam of Darts, if we're being honest. Gerwen Price, he's had a poor year. Gerwen Price really has. He's not made a quarter-final in a TV-ranked event this year. Knocked out first round of the Players' Championship finals. Didn't qualify for the Grand Slam of Darts. When you look at his Instagram, he seems to be quite positive and upbeat about darts now. He wants that fire in the belly again. He wants to get back to winning ways, but it was a real setback losing to Thibaut Tricot at the recent Players' Championship finals. But he will face either Kim Huybrechts, who has not had a good year himself, though did make the final of the most recent European Tour event, or Keane Barry, again, who's not had the best of years, but did qualify for the Grand Slam of Darts. Didn't win, didn't get through the group stages, but it could pose a threat there. I mean, Kim Huybrechts and Gerwen Price had a very tasty tie a few years ago at the World Championship, where Gerwen Price just nicked it at the end in a fiery affair. And then we look to the fourth quarter, and this is the stacked quarter of that half of the draw, because you've got Michael van Gerwen, three-time champion of the world, went out first round of the recent Players' Championship finals, and also Gary Anderson is in that side of the draw, who's arguably the favourite to lift the trophy after the two Lukes, Luke Humphries and Luke Littler. And Michael van Gerwen has got pretty favourable draw, you would say. He will face the winner of James Hurrell or the Canadian Jim Long, and Anderson will face either Jeffrey de Graaf, who can throw some decent stuff, he's shown that this year, or Rashid Sweeting, his debut at the World Championship. But another interesting name for me in this quarter of the draw is Dave Chisnall. Dave Chisnall, the weird and wonderful world of Dave Chisnall. He has been an absolute demon on the floor and the European Tour for the past 2 years. He's won 2 European Tour events this year. He's won 2 titles on the floor. He's currently world number 6. Now, provisionally, he's provisionally set to go world number 5 after the World Championship. And as it stands, about £23,000 behind number 4, Rob Cross. Now, if he can make up that £23,000 and get in the top 4 after the World Championship, then he would be guaranteed a spot in the Premier League. That is despite doing virtually nothing on television over the past 2 years. He did make the quarter-final of the World Championship in the most recent tournament in 2024, but that is the only thing of note that he's done on TV. Yet despite that, because of what he's done on the European Tour, because of what he's done on the Pro Tour, he's closing in on a Premier League spot if he can have a decent run here and other results go his way. But I'm just looking at some other names now. Peter Wright, he's outside the top 16 for the first time in a decade. He is a seed though, so he is in round 2. Now he will face either, apologies if I pronounced this wrong, Rusei Azumoto from Japan or Wesley Placier. Now this has got huge connotation, implications, beg your pardon, in other things as well, because Peter Wright, he went out early, if you remember, last year at the World Championship, losing to Jim Williams, and you would expect Wesley Placier to come through his round 1 game, and if he faces Peter Wright, he will run him close. I would make him on form, I would make him the favourite. I would make Wesley Placier the favourite. Peter Wright has had an absolute disaster this year on TV. The only ranking win he's got in any match is at the UK Open this year. Early exits at the World Championship, Match Play, European Championship, World Grand Prix. Had a horrendous Grand Slam of darts as well. And got smashed at the ball by Darryl Gurney at the recent Players' Championship finals in the opening round. So that could be a real issue for Peter Wright. Wesley Placier, it doesn't actually have a tour card yet. He will have a tour card next year. But despite not having a tour card, he's made 3 finals this year on the Pro Tour, and he has won one of those titles as well. So that is a real crucial tie. Also, because of what he's done on the Pro Tour, Wesley Placier, if he wins one more game, he will overtake, provisionally after the World Championship, overtake Simon Whitlock in 65th place. Now, you need to be in the top 64 after the World Championship to keep your tour card. However, because Steve Beaton is retiring, the top 65 keep their tour card. So if Wesley Placier wins one game at the World Championship, the round 1 game against Rusei Azumoto, which you expect him to do, then unfortunately, and it breaks my heart to say this because I'm a huge Simon Whitlock fan, Simon Whitlock, who has not qualified for the PDC World Championship, not qualified for the World Championship of any code for the first time in 2 decades, will lose his tour card. And there's a day where we've seen Steve Beaton, who we know is retiring. He also failed to qualify for the World Championship, so he will bow out. Mervyn King as well, after many years in this sport, a true legend of the sport. After failing to qualify for the World Championship, he's also going to lose his tour card. So that's my instant reaction to the draw. Again, I do just want to talk about those players there. Vincent van der Voort is another one who didn't go to the qualifier. He's going to lose his tour card. It really does feel like the end of an era, and I don't feel this video would be right without talking about those guys there. I mean, guys like Mervyn King, Steve Beaton, Simon Whitlock, and of course Vincent van der Voort. They've been playing darts for decades. They've been so important to the growth of the sport. And it's a real shame that Steve Beaton doesn't get that farewell. And guys like Simon Whitlock, Mervyn King, and Vincent, it's what they've done for the sport. The reason why the sport is in the position it is today is largely because of what those guys have done, as well as a lot of the other guys in that generation. So we'll see Steve Beaton on the World Senior Circuit. Hopefully we will see Mervyn King and Simon Whitlock there as well. I expect we'll see them there. Vincent van der Voort, not too sure. He's doing a lot of punditry work now in the Netherlands, and he's doing very well at that. But yeah, I just wanted to pay a bit of a tribute there to those guys. It does feel like the end of an era. And Simon Whitlock has not lost his tour card yet, but if that does happen, and he chooses not to go to Q School to try and regain it, then Simon, Steve Beaton, Vincent van der Voort, Mervyn King, thank you.